saying out loud. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode. Yeah. Oh, sensual. Yeah. We're gonna get litty as a titty on a Tuesday. Yes, we are. You and me and whoever else wants to listen to me get litty as a titty on a Tuesday. All jiggly, all day better. Bet your bottom dollar on the litty titty Tuesday. Anyway, it's the day after Monday. By the way, have you ever been to a bay eating bagels? By the way, hey, litty as a titty on a Tuesday. It's what we are all day. You don't gotta drive far in your car to be a star on a Tuesday. Getting litty as a titty Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most exciting day of the week, where you got big old titties and little titties and medium-sized titty, the itty-bitty titty committee. Every day getting litty for fitty-gitty when we're getting fritty. Bars, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, when you start improvising shit, you're gonna get litty, you're gonna get titty, and we're gonna get some itty-bitty, okay? It is what it is, you know? Bars, okay? At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tuesday, okay? You already know what we do. I've repeated it enough, all right? I don't need to keep repeating what today is. It's Litty Titty Tuesday, okay? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Your boy over here with a nice little bass tan coming on. Listen. I blame me mother. I blame me mother for my light skin, and me father for my ability to get dark skin, okay? Got the Taino Indian blood, and you got the white blood. Just white, all right? You look at my mom's side of the blood under a microscope, and it's going to be some mayo in there, all right? It is what it is. Be proud of what you are, wherever you come from. People on the internet, man, they try to shame you for whatever you are. You can't really be much, okay? You can't be much of anything, out of anything, of anything. There's someone that's going to get upset. And that's the life lesson for today, kids. Who gives a fuck? Like, people want to blame you for your ancestors. I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but people just look for any reason of why you should be upset with life and of your own heritage and your own shit. I saw something on the internet yesterday about Ohio paid some woman like $12,000 to come give a speak on white fragility. Like, what the fuck is white fragility? Okay? That's the weirdest shit ever. We've hit a weird point in the apocalypse. Because we all think the apocalypse is going to be like this weird thing where it's like volcanoes and ash. We're basically living out our Lord of the Rings fantasies. The apocalypse is happening. We're just like lobsters, or, you know, when you boil crabs, you don't just put on a hot, scorching pan or pot of water and just throw them in there. Nah, you just let them feel cool. Oh, hey, this is some nice lukewarm water. And then you turn that shit on them slowly, and they're like, oh shit, I'm dead. I'm smack dab in the middle of the apocalypse. We're in it, baby. Okay? It's just up to us to decide at what point of the boil are we. When do we say enough of this bucket? Enough of this goddamn pot and pan. All right? I'm talking to you, America. Stand up. That whole rabbit hole was just off your boy talking about his tan. Okay, listen. Whoever invented suntan lotion, they should be handling the pandemic. Because I was on a river, the Comal River, in New Braunfels, Texas. At least 7-8 hours, but your boy lathered up with that suntan lotion. My nose is a little red, but that's it. I didn't catch a sunburn because your boy lathered up in that good, okay? And it blows my mind. We got all this great technology, all this science. And somehow this is still the pandemic we're living in. You know what I'm saying? We got the technology to fight the goddamn sun. I looked at the sun yesterday and I said, hey, you ain't that guy, pal. You ain't that guy. Trust me. And the sun said, oh, are you that guy? And I said, yeah, I'm that guy, pal. Okay? SPF 50 with an extra 40 spray on top of it. I'm coming at you at 90 SPFs, son. Okay? So now you are my son. Son, okay? I'm that guy, pal. Okay? But the river, a great time. A great time. Just 10 out of 10 experience. I've been there once before, years ago. But it's just nice to float down a river. Get your mind out of the shit, you know? All the injustices in the world just melt away. It's good to get out there and just float every now and then. But you know what did happen? Listen, I saved my woman's life yesterday. Okay? I'm a goddamn hero. All right? Because listen, we don't know if my girl's allergic to Wasp. She has family members that are allergic. And I happen to be dating someone who has a lot of allergies. She's allergic to a lot of stuff. Peanuts, almonds. But these nuts, she got 100% pass on. Hey, how you guys doing? Stupid. Listen, a wasp. I've never seen this before in my life. And I know I've been talking about wasp and bugs in Texas a lot lately. All right, but listen, this is just a new chapter of my life of living in Texas, where they say everything's bigger in Texas and the bugs in Texas. There's a lot of stuff that people stereotype Texas for. One of them is big bugs in Texas. Listen, big bugs in Texas. These bugs don't play out here. These bugs don't have to carry weapons because they are the weapons out here. All right. I got dragonflies that are flying by my head that'll blow my hair. Whew. Sounds like real fucking dragons, just scorched earth. All right. I got bees that could fucking shish kebab me out here. And you know what's worse than the bees? The goddamn wasp and hornets. You know who doesn't fuck with Texas? Murder hornets. You know why? Because don't mess with Texas. There are some open carry wasp in Texas. They don't give a fuck and they are ready to defend the great state of Texas. These wasps are on a different level. And you know what I saw that I just never thought I would ever see in my life? A goddamn red wasp, also known as a red paper wasp. And you know what the first time I see this wasp in my life is? When it's trying to go under my girl's bucket hat and land on her face. And I'm in the inner tube next to her. Got a few friends. We're all linked up on the tubes. All of a sudden that wasp just goes under, tries to land on her face, give her a little. Well, there's problem 1 and 2 right there. First, you're encroaching on my woman. And I don't know what you're about to do with that stinger. So your boy, I react so fast that I accidentally break my friend's river shoes, his water shoes. Somehow I ripped them in part with my foot. When I jumped up, I did this weird kick thing to get onto her raft. I managed to get the wasp away from her face and in one swift motion pull off my bucket hat and fucking Serena Williams that shit across the lake. And I hit it across the lake. Do I know where it went? No. Probably into a different galaxy. But in reality, and this is what's messed up, there was another group of people, a whole family of people on the rafts that I easily just knocked that red wasp in their direction. Could have went down some little poor kid's throat, okay? But listen, everybody knows what they signed up for in the river. We're not all in this together. It's not some Goombaya shit. We all got our team, all right? And in my squad, no one gets left behind, okay? No one gets left behind. But let me tell you this also. Call it a conspiracy theory, but you know that your boy has been dealing with Wasp for quite some time. If you remember the episode about the Wasp who has been bullying me on my patio, who now lives on my patio, then you know that I have a vendetta with Wasp. Was this red wasp an assassin hired by the Wasp in my place to come finish us off? Okay? Did it think that what was going to happen and, maybe I killed the wrong wasp here, or hiring the poison control to take care of this wasp, that, the family of that wasp hired an assassin from Russia, the red wasp, and it was like, I will break him. And they were like, are you going to stab him? And he's like, no, I will take the most important thing away from him. And I will break him over time. Like it was trying to take my woman from me. And it was like, no more. I'm going to hit him where it hurts. I could sting him. He had a bad time. But I break him forever. They took their shot. They took their shot and they missed. Okay? And now, scorched earth, motherfucker. Welcome to war. And war is hell. Okay? And now I gotta buy my friend a new water shoe because I ripped his in half somehow. Wish I had footage of what happened. But everybody knows that shoes are always a casualty in any kind of emergency. It's always weird when people get hit by cars. The shoes, gone. Shoes are disloyal at the end of the day, okay, when it comes to like sticking with you when you need them most. How many times has your shoe just sold you out? Decide to pick up a stray, pick up a drifter, a little pebble, get underneath that shoe. Just come off. Decide when you're like walking through a mall trying to be cool, impress some chick. Your shoe's like, now's the perfect time to untie myself. So this dork steps on the other one and boom, boom, boom. Shoes are the devil's work, okay? That's why we should all just go barefoot. Who's with me, huh? Dumb. But here's where the real problem is with these wasps. We get back from the river in the afternoon. Sun's, getting ready to set. As we're getting stuff out of the truck, a goddamn wasp tries landing on my girl again. Not only that, the wasp goes into the truck. And we're talking about a wasp. Solid 3 to 4 inches. Okay. I didn't measure this thing, but when I say 4 inches, I'm giving it the old guy's measurement. You know what I'm saying? Measured it from the back. You get what I'm saying. But now this wasp is trapped in my truck because I couldn't find it. We shut the door and then I waited. I was trying to see where it was landing at so I could murder it. Couldn't find it. So now there's just a wasp in my truck and it's probably going to come out when I go to do a set tonight. Okay? Murder me like that. I'm going to go down fighting though. Okay? If there is a wasp in my truck while I'm driving tonight and it comes up and tries to attack me, I'm ripping the wheel. So we spin, we flip a few times, allow the car to ignite. If I'm going down, I'm taking this one with me. Okay? Okay? I'm ready to die for this. Are you, Mr. Wasp? But even worse than that, we're going to get off this wasp talk. Okay? Worse than that. I go out to walk my dog this morning. There's about 20 wasps right in my hallway, right outside my door, just waiting there. And they're all standing there like this, punching their hand into the other hand, signifying that they're here for a fight. They were at least trying to physically intimidate me, okay? My dog too. She don't fuck with wasp, okay? These wasps are flying down. Fuck you. Very rude. Very rude, okay? But ladies and gentlemen, let's move on from this topic. I don't know what the fuck we're doing talking about wasp for 13 minutes. Yeah, I'm just going to open the podcast and talk about fucking wasp forever. All kinds of wasp. Yellow wasp, red wasp, waspy. Here's a question for God. Why even make wasp? Why would you ever do that, asshole? I can say that because you abandoned us. Okay, God, why didn't you never answer my prayers as a kid? Always wanted a puppy for Christmas, but instead I got a toy puppy. Kind of worse. Kind of a sick joke. And I'm talking to you too, Jesus. You don't get to skate on by. Because you could have stopped them from making wasp. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed that little segment, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Obviously, a lot of things happen in America. A lot of things happen. We always say we're not going to get political, and we're not really. We're going to try to stay away from it. But this is something, dude, I guess I have made it known that I am pretty just want everybody to have their own freedom and everything like that. And that attracts a certain kind of person that will DM me articles and send me stuff and think that I want to see certain posts on social media. Your boy doesn't have, I'm not tied to any political party. Okay. But I think it's racist when people assume, and I think, I don't really think it's racist. I could give two shits. It's just funny that if you have any kind of, like, where did civil discourse go? I've been trying to do this. I've been trying to get better at when people have a completely different view than me, not engaging in an argument about it. Like realizing like, oh, we don't have to agree on everything. There's probably a lot of stuff that just doesn't get brought up that I don't agree with a lot of friends or I don't agree with a lot of family. But it's like they're never hot topics that everybody is constantly revolving around. That could probably be a pretty big deal breaker for a lot of stuff. But it's like, it's weird that we do that with political stuff, you know, where it's like, oh, you agree with this? Well, then you support killing babies. Oh, you agree with this? Well, then you support sniffing babies. You know, you can't win either way. Everything's extreme. And here's why I think it is. I think it comes down to like everything, you want things to be simple because like you want to either hate people or love them 100%. You don't want to have to deal with variables because variables are confusing and variables make life more complicated. It's a lot easier just to choose a team and be like, I'm seeing this through to the end, you know? Because I see some people going down with the ship on so many different belief systems and things like that. I have had people asking me about the vaccine mandate and what I think about it. Weird shit. I think it's weird. I think it's weird when people don't acknowledge that. Could you have imagined, and this is where like hypocrisy comes in, and it's like, focus on the objectives and what your values are, because then it doesn't matter who is the president and who isn't the president. It's their actions that you should care about, right? Because just because someone seems like a cool, fun person or whatever it is, the reason people voted for what they represent or what they think someone else doesn't represent, it's like people get lost on just the surface of it and what they're not actually doing. And I say that because I feel like if Trump, I know someone just went, he who should not be named, ever did this kind of vaccine mandate, people would be protesting so hard. And it's so fucking childish when you see people, because there's so many people being like, I'm not taking his vaccine. And then now that you have Biden they're like, now I'll take the vaccine. You ever seen a little kid where they're just like, they don't want their mommy or someone to give them the spoon. They want daddy to do it. Like whatever bullshit it is. They're just like, no, I want them to do it. And you're just like, okay, the reality is you're still getting the same bite of food. The same thing is happening. It's just the vehicle. It links up with your weird control shit in your brain and this weird fake thing that you've created. But this is where it starts getting weird, is when you have someone who's basically saying, this isn't about your freedom. It's about health. This isn't about health. That's what's crazy about it is, you know, I talk to nurses. I talk to people in the healthcare system. There's a lot of people, I don't know if you know this, but even in New York, all over the country, nurses are quitting in droves because they're refusing to get a vaccine. It should at least pique your curiosity about all of this. If the actual healthcare workers are wanting to get these vaccines, it should at least make you go, huh. And it could be a situation where people who know the industry, who understand the mechanism and what's really going on and how money is made in the health industry, are questioning stuff when they don't want to be part of the system. The biggest thing that I learned from going to nursing school was I never want to have to go through this. This is an industry you want to avoid at all costs, which is why you should eat healthy, work out, try to, take away stress as much as you can. But it's like, that is the health idea behind it, because when you start seeing different variants and everything, and like people saying this bullshit about like vaccinated people aren't getting, aren't having as many symptoms, dude, it's just simply not true. It's not true. When I'm having actual people, healthcare workers tell me, be like, dude, the vaccinated are still having just as many problems, if not more. And that's also subjective. That's probably not a big enough, sample size to really say that. But you're never going to see anything in the mainstream narrative of going against what the narrative needs to be. And it's crazy that you sound like a conspiracy theorist if you even say any of this stuff. It's wild. It's wild to me. Do I think the vaccine mandate is constitutional? No, I don't. I think it should be the freedom of choice. Just like, and people want to say, well, it's because all, COVID is contagious, and because, I've said it till I'm blue in the face about heart disease, diabetes, all this other stuff, cancer. When you're saying, well, those things aren't contagious. You don't think they're contagious? You don't think the kind of choices that an adult makes is affecting their family? You don't think it's coincidence when you see an unhealthy family member like a mom and a dad? You don't think that's contagious for a kid to live in that environment and they're going to be raised a certain way? Everything's contagious in that sense of the way that you teach people the kind of foods you put in your body that you're forcing kids to have to eat if they're growing up in that home. It's a real thing. And it's like the real vaccine and way to actually beat this thing is to build immunity. Build immunity. Make it so the symptoms aren't as crazy. Get healthy. I see people all the time here in Texas. They're taking their health into their responsibility. That's the one great thing that I've seen coming out of this, is a lot more people are starting to take control of their health, which is great. You love to see it, especially if you just don't want to get a vaccine and be like, okay, yeah, now I need to be scared till the next thing comes out. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, weird times. It's weird in so many different ways. I'm someone who, I think I have conservative and liberal ideas, things that I support and I believe in. I feel like there should be real inclusion, not this bullshit that's going on. Because there's weird shit going on and maybe it's because I live near a very liberal city in Austin that has some wacky ideas. I get the intention, but the execution is weird. Sometimes, I'll go to do a set and I won't get as much time because on the surface, I look like a straight white male, and then some people find out, Hispanic, and then they're like different towards me. And I'm like, hey, do you realize that this is still weird and racist? Like what you're claiming you're doing right now is segregation. You're claiming it's to give voices to POCs and the LGBTQRST plus, which I'm all fine with, but I feel like there should be, like, they're becoming gatekeepers of these weird ideas. And I'm like, you're pretending to be inclusive, but you're kicking out a whole different demographic of people, which is just odd to me. Like, it's silly. And that's happened at multiple places here in Austin. And I really don't give two shits. I'm in the belief system, and this is something that I've had, is like, we're in an age of technology where it's like, you have all the tools you need to be successful in whatever you want to do. You can create anything you want online. Okay. There's so much opportunity. I think the hardest thing that you have to do is not get caught up in bullshit and distractions. If anybody who's watching this and they just saw me looking around weirdly, like I'm fucking Ray Charles, I'm just looking back at this screen that has the podcast, make sure everything's going good. I realize sometimes that's weird if I just am like, yeah, baby, you just gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to focus on, because there was I think the first time this weirdly happened to me was like a month ago, where I was told if I wasn't a straight white male, I could get more time. And I'm like, this is fucking weird. And it like bugged me for like a couple days. And it didn't bug me personally, because I'm just like, hey, whatever. I really don't get two shits. People can do whatever they want to do. But it was more of just the idea, the hypocrisy in it of people pretending to be inclusive and preaching about one thing when I'm like, in reality, you're doing the opposite, you know? But at the end of the day, people can do whatever they want to do. And if that's how they feel, that's how they feel, you know? Do you, baby. Do you. You know what I think's crazy that people do? Not to segue so hard. Yeah. Segue. What about this one? No, fuck it. No sounds. Have you ever seen those things where people set up dominoes throughout their entire house and they push like one thing and they have like a ping pong ball just and it like flies, and then they have it like go into a blender, and the blender's like and like pushes it up, and then it goes like around a string around a fan, and then it flies through, and then it like lands in a little, and then like books fall over, and it's all to get like one ping pong ball to go in a cup. Hey, why? Why would you ever do that? Why would you waste so much time? Those videos irk me so much, because I'm like, what's the point of this? Do you know which ones I'm talking about? It's the one where it just takes so long. Like they have over like 1,000, like some of them, listen, some of them where they have like 100,000 dominoes and they make cool pictures and they're like weaving in and out. I'm like, that's so crazy. But some of them are so silly where I'm just like, I don't know the point of this. You got too much time on your hands and you've been putting off something. Or I look at it and I'm like, what are you running from? What demons are chasing you that you're like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this shit today. Today, kids, we're going to set a fucking ping pong on a goddamn toilet paper roll. Okay? And push it through. Some things don't make sense. You know who else doesn't make sense to me? Conor McGregor. What the fuck's happened, Conor McGregor? Okay? This is turning into a real ranty podcast episode. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but sometimes this is what it is. Especially when you're living in the apocalypse. I apologize if I have a couple things that irk me a little bit that I at least got to talk through. Okay? Okay? You can't pretend to tell me that these vaccine mandates aren't weird to you. You feel okay with them. Man, yeah, everybody should get a shot. Man, no. Fuck your freedom. Fucking, what's his name? What is his name? Oh, Howard Stern. He said, fuck people's freedom. They need to get jabbed. Oh, really, Howard Stern? Fuck people's freedom. Dude, that's like, it's all the hypocrisy of it. It's like, yeah, we have all this fast food and everything like that. But yeah, we should, this one thing that 99.8% of the population isn't at risk for, we should all be forced to get a shot and to possibly have side effects, or just the act of it's not your choice anymore. It's a weird thing. And that's where it's like, I have ideas about life and everything where it's like, no, I don't think this, abortion law in Texas is good. I think it's just still be your choice. But it's like, where's all the choice people when it comes to the vaccines? It's real fucking odd. And it's weird when you start seeing celebrities talking about it in certain ways. Like, dude, it gets spooky to me when you start seeing late night hosts. I don't know if I talked about this in the last episode because maybe it was after I saw this. I went down a weird rabbit hole of seeing like, what was his name? He worked with The Daily Show, Jon Stewart. Oh, Stephen Colbert. Colbert used to be one of my heroes growing up as a kid. I fucking loved his segments when he would be on Jon Stewart and everything. I still love Jon Stewart. But Stephen Colbert used to be amazing. But at some point when he got his own show and everything, he changed. Stop being you. You let someone put a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. What happened, Stephen? Okay? But it's like the same thing. You start seeing like, he put out this thing about like fully supporting Biden with this speech and the monster variant. And dude, late night hosts The last good one, Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien is the best late night host, period. Okay? You could go back to early David Letterman, whatever. Carson was a different thing though, with the couch and everything like that for comedians. But as far as a late night host and actually great writers, it was Conan O'Brien. When they would do their monologues and everything, Conan, effortless, phenomenal. Conan O'Brien might be comedically who took time off from being a comedian to do something within the industry. Conan O'Brien might be the greatest, period. He's hilarious. Everything from behind the scenes, who he is as a person, his ability to riff on his podcast and everything. That's been one of my favorite things over the pandemic is Conan O'Brien's podcast, because he's actually so much better. Like, he's able to transition over into being a podcast host, and it's phenomenal. He can be himself, get loosey-goosey, But these late night hosts, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. Dude, if Jimmy Fallon fake laughs one more time, I'm going to send a bottle of Wasp to his home, okay? I can't take it anymore. That was an aggressive sip of water, but I get fired up with these late night hosts. But the writing, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, because if you go on social media sometimes and you see a weird post and you're like, oh man, the virtue signal in this or something, whatever they're doing. And then you go read the comments sometimes. Sometimes you're like, it's a breath of relief. You're like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one that thinks this is crazy. But I watched this 10-minute segment about Stephen Colbert talking about the monster variant, if you want to see it on YouTube. And I was watching it on my TV, so I couldn't see it, the comments for it. But it was so weird and so supporting the vaccine mandate and being like, yes, I say yes, Biden, about time, And then the crowd was applauding and everything. And I'm like, this is weird. And then it was so much that I went the next day to see the comments. And it was weirdly supportive of everything he said, of everything the vaccines. And what it really felt like, it felt like they hire a team of people to make accounts on YouTube and to comment everything that they're supposed to comment. It's just a weird fucking thing. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I am all fired up right now. All fired up. Looks like Gavin Newsom is going to win the recall. Sorry, I have a ghost coming into my house right now. It looks like Gavin Newsom is going to win the recall. We're not going to get too political on this episode. Proceeds to just be completely political the whole episode. We're not going to talk politics at all, ladies and gentlemen. But this just came across my table. I had an intern bring it in right now about this Gavin Newsom recall. Hey, people in California, you have Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome. The fact that Gavin Newsom is about to win by double digits blows my mind. I thought it was going to be a landslide for anybody else besides Gavin Newsom. It doesn't have to be a Republican candidate. Listen, I don't give two shits. They weren't the only ones that you could have voted for. I just feel like in the whole level of just the idea of do as I say, not as I do, the amount of funneling and money, the fact that Gavin Newsom doesn't pay any taxes, on his home, it was gifted to him, and some weird shady deals. And then you see these home dinners that they would have during the pandemic where they're not wearing masks. They're able to go to these restaurants and do stuff while he's telling everybody else, stay home, stop the spread. Oh, we're shutting down all these small businesses, but we're going to stay open. We're going to do what we do. Do as I say, not as I do. It's just real weird. And if you voted for Gavin Newsom, fuck you. I'm just kidding, ladies and gentlemen. This is me trying to be a little more understanding of people who have different beliefs than me. It is what it is at the end of the day. It is what it is. You guys can vote for whoever you want to vote. Do whatever you want to do. Just don't try to tell me what to do, These wasps trying to murder me. Listen, your boy's stressed out. Got a lot going on. The fact that, people say like, oh, like the sky's falling, the sky's falling. I got the sky dive bombing me. Wasp trying to take me out just because I assassinated one of their family members. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, listen, this has gone on for too long. Too long, I tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you made it through this episode, I know your boy got real wordy at some points in this. But I just want to say that I love you. Thank you for listening to this episode. Pretty soon here, we're going to start having guests again. I'm not sure about in studio. We might wait. Things are going to be changing within the next couple months. We're going to be in a new location. The podcast is just going to expand. Okay? We're going to figure it out. But I just want to say thank you. And I love you. And I'll see you on Thursday.